All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Timothy here. We're here for round one of an Hour of Devastation draft. We are playing black-white zombies. We've got a very low to the ground deck with lots of zombie payoffs. I think one thing we're missing is some sort of go wide pump spell. But this is a good hand. We've got 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, and we'll probably play Mummy before Lord of the Accursed, but this just seems good. We are on the draw, and I think we want to be on the play with this deck. But I'm pretty happy with it. Right off the bat, we've got two of our main cards that we're happy to play in this deck. My opponent started off with a Painted Bluffs, is kind of weird. Do they just not? Okay, they played a Painted Bluffs, and that's it. They kept a 1-lander with no colored sources. All right, so this may not be too much of a match here. We're going to go ahead and attack for 1. Jam a Catcher's Avenger in second main. And call it a wrap. Okay, they do have a second source. They probably got a bunch of 2-drops if they kept a hand like that. Oh, okay. It's actually not bad on this board. It's not bad at all. So, question is, what do I want to play? I think the right thing to play here is Lord of the Accursed, because that gets me in for at least 2 damage this turn. I can play Unraveling Mummy next turn. I'm going to hold Stir the Sands until I have 6 mana, but this seems decent on this board. My opponent's probably some... I don't even know. There's no point in exerting. We're just going to attack and get in 2 damage. He does get a pretty nice block here. Seems like a really weird hand to keep. Maybe he's just all on 1-drops. Oh, man, another colorless source. Probably a bunch of desert payoffs. Bantu's Monument. Okay, so he's just playing a bunch of bad cards. Although he could play a 4-drop next turn. Potentially even a 5-drop. Start to finish is quite good. We're definitely just playing Unraveling Mummy this turn. That lets me attack with Death Touch and Lifelink on the following turn. Plus I can use this ability plus start next turn. Let's go and just jam with everybody. We're going to get in at least 4 damage this way. Not really a lot to worry about at this moment. Let's go and play the Unraveling Mummy. I don't know what this really tells me. This is a weird combination of stuff. You've got a bunch of, like, I don't know, a bad desert, mana fixin'. You're probably primarily black, but you've got a white creature. This is really weird. Ruin Rat. Okay. 1 mana Ruin Rat. Card's fine. It's kind of annoying. It does show my opponent wants to play very defensively here. And Wasteland Scorpion. This is why Catcher's Avenger is pretty good. Now, wait, what? Oh, he cycled Wasteland Scorpion? That's weird. All right, now let's think for a second, because this guy does have Death Touch, which is kind of annoying. One thing I could do here is give all my guys Menace. And then if he wants to double block one of my zombies, I give it Death Touch, and I get to eat both of his guys. If I do that, this costs 2 mana, right? I don't get to play anything else this turn, but that seems fine. I could also just attack with everything. We definitely want to do some sort of attack, and we don't want our opponent to just randomly crawl back into this game, right? So I could actually just attack with these two anyway. I don't even have to give Menace. Use this ability. He very likely trades Ruin Rats for Unraveling Mummy, and if he blocks anything with God Pharaohs, I can just give that one Death Touch and then play or hold up Start to Finish on my turn. That seems good. This way I get to kill both of his creatures. He does get to take out probably my best creature on the board, but that's fine. If I attack with a Catcher's Avenger, I can exert, but he just gets a free block there, but then I get in more damage this way. That seems fine as well. In fact, I'm fine trading Oketra's Avenger for the Ruin Rats if it means I keep my 2 zombies. So I think I'm attacking with all 3 of these and not exerting Oketra's Avenger, and if he wants to take a free block there, that's fine, but he takes more damage. Maybe it's just right to exert this. That means he's not going to block it anyway, right? But yeah, I'm exerting. This just keeps my creature on board. And whatever he blocks with God Pharaoh's Gift is getting, or God Pharaoh's Faithful is getting Death Touch. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So block there, that makes sense as well. Now there's no point in doing anything. This is exactly how we drew it up. He does get to exile a creature out of my graveyard, which is annoying for me, but it is what it is. Gets rid of the mummy, takes 2, goes down to 13. We play Mummy Paramount, hold up start, and then if he plays a big creature next turn, we have finish on our turn. And just tons of damage. Maybe it was wrong to exert this. There was no reason to actually exert this now that I think about it. Okay, you just have nothing? Something's going on. Yeah, see, I would be able to attack again here. There was just no reason to exert this. Now, I like the idea of holding on to Stir the Sands because it does pump my Mummy Paramount here. I don't think there's any reason to give Menace, but we're just going to attack all in. My opponent's shown that they just don't have much going on. Get a free block there and take 6. I don't even have to use finish. Are we going to see a 6 drop here? Scrounger of Souls. That's good. It'd be a lot better if I didn't have finish in my hand. Do I need to use Stir the Sands? My opponent's going to be at 9. If I play a zombie on my turn, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, I don't need to use it. My opponent's just dead if I use finish. Oh, actually, I should. Because I have to sack a creature to finish. So we are actually going to cycle this. It gives me another body on board, and I get to win next turn with finish. And another Mummy Paramount. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish him. Choose target creature. Pay black, white. Sack a dude. If I wanted to be super efficient about it, I would play a creature and sack the creature I played, but I don't need to do that. Alright, now, obviously this is how I drew it up, but my opponent's playing a bunch of really bad cards, so, you know, this is not a typical game. No removal, bunch of death touch creatures. That kind of matters to me, right? All the death touch creatures are kind of annoying. My opponent only showed me 1 white creature, so I don't think I want to bring Gideon's defeat in at the moment. I think I'm going to have enough time to tutor if I wanted to, but I don't think that's what I want to be doing. I do kind of like the Rot Beast at this point, mostly because it trades with the 2 creatures we saw. So having another Rot Beast might just be better than having this big Angel, but I don't know. It's like, do I really want a second Rot Beast in my deck? Now we're just going to run it back. That went fine. My opponent's on a really weird deck, like super finicky deck. I don't know what happened there, but bunch of cards that don't really go together at all. And the Sun-Scorched Desert kind of tells me my opponent doesn't know too much about the format, unless they're like some Ifnir Deadlands deck. Now, this is a risky hand to keep if I wanted to, but the fact that I have a 5-drop and 4-drop makes me want to just mulligan. I've got a game up on this. I don't want to get caught on 2 mana, even though I have a bunch of things I could play if I do get 2 mana. I just want to have at least 2 mana in my opening hand. This is good. Grind the Dust is nice. Mummy Paramount followed by possibly Bone Slasher, and I do just want to draw my land, so we'll keep that on top. Fanbearer. Big fan of that card. That would have been much more helpful for my opponent to have last game. Alright. So my opponent's just actually straight up black-white. But if they're tapping out for things like Bantu's Monument, like that card just doesn't do that much over the course of the game. Now, are they going to curve out on me this time? Ruin Rat. Okay, nothing I'm too worried about at the moment. Note how good Grind of Dust is going to be here. It's going to kill this and shrink down whatchamacallit, but I want to get on board, see if my opponent gives me the opportunity to kill another 1 toughness creature at some point. Looks like we might just be playing this desert. I do want to get to the point where I can cast Dust and Final Reward. Opponent does nothing. Doesn't attack with a Death Touch creature? That seems really weird. I'm going to play this pre-combat. My opponent's just going to tap down my Mummy Paramount anyway, but so be it. If he lets me attack, that's like really weird, but couple things here. So first off, note that Grind can't put 2 -1/-1 counters on a single creature. It has to divide them up, otherwise I'd kill Fanbearer right away. It's not quite as flexible as Splendid Agony. And also note that Marauding Bone Slasher, the downside is like almost not even a real thing in my deck, because my deck is pretty much all zombies. Now here's something really interesting I could do. I could play Fester and Mummy. I could play Fester and Mummy. I could use Grind to put a counter on Fester and Mummy and Fanbearer. When Fester and Mummy dies, I can put the other counter on Fanbearer and get that off the board. I don't really need to do that, though, because I could... yeah, there's not a lot of reason to do that. We're going to play Fester and Mummy here. And I think I'm going to grind this rat. This way I get in damage starting now. I don't quite want to cycle this yet. But I am going to go ahead and grind both of these. This gets the rat... Oh, shoot. Hold on just a moment. Because if the rat dies, he does get to exile Grind out of my graveyard, which is kind of annoying, right? But I think that's fine. I have Final Reward as a backup. I get to start dealing a lot of damage here. Shame. Maybe I should try to trade something off with Ruin Rat first, and then just hold up Grind of Dust anyway. And that seems fine because I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have 6 mana just exile anything big my opponent plays. So this feels like a bad trade, but I am actually going to trade my Bone Slasher. Oh, I skipped combat, so never mind. So if that's the case, we're just cycling Desert of the True then. This is weird. My opponent's got to have just like a god in his deck or something if he's playing these off-color mana fixers. But why the Sun-Scorched Desert? That doesn't make any sense to me. This land's just really bad unless you specifically need like splashing for at least one of the colors. It just feels overall not that great. Lethal Sting, taking out my guy. Oh, okay, so that feels bad, right? But now I get to grind both of his guys, and if he wants to eat dust, that's fine. It's kind of annoying, but you know. Trial of Ambition's decent too. Alright, so we have an alternative plan now. I do want to keep Grind of Dust in hand, right? So I could play Trial. My opponent sacks Ruin Rat, taps something down. I think him having Fanbearer is just better than him having Ruin Rat. He gets to exile something irrelevant from my graveyard. I get to play Mummy Paramount and start attacking for a little bit of damage, not much. Let's see what my opponent does here. I really want to just... The thing is, if I cast Grind and I kill off the creatures with a -1 counter, then Dust doesn't do very much. So I want to be able to hold this until it's a 6 mana play where I can just straight up exile 2 creatures. If I were my opponent, I would get rid of the Ruin Rat. Just because Fanbearer mitigates just as much damage, right? Or he's going to tap something and then get rid of Fanbearer? That seems wrong. But what do I know? Very strange. I will attack with Fester and Mummy. Doesn't block. and we deploy more zombies. So at this point, we're in the point where we're either going to draw land where we can cast Final Reward, or we're going to just draw action. I still have no earthly clue what my opponent's trying to do with their deck. It's weird. They're white-black, but they have a bunch of, like, strange mana fixing in their deck. They have Painted Bluffs, Crypt of Eternals, Scrounger of Souls is annoying. We are going to want to draw a land here, I think. Okay, not quite what we wanted. I think I play this land, though. I think I play this land. Pass the turn, take a little bit of damage, let my opponent do a little bit of lifelinking, and then hold up Final Reward. That's fine. It's not great for us. We probably get hit for 3 here. But if I draw a land and my opponent plays another big fatty, I get to just do what I was hoping to do and grind to dust both of them. 4 mana. Not sure what that could mean. I'm not going to block if he attacks. Supply Caravan. Okay, that's decent for my opponent. Again, it's not a super strong card. And if I draw a land, I still get to do what I was hoping to do and just exile both of these guys. Stir the Sands. That's interesting. Unfortunately, we're 1 off from casting that too. Let's hold up Final Reward here and pass the turn. My opponent probably attacks with Caravan plus Scrounger, and that's fine. Then we Final Reward the Scrounger. Could just cycle Stir the Sands, but that's going to be so much better if we cast it. We're just 1 mana away from doing everything we want, so don't want my opponent to gain too much life here either, so we are going to do this. See what my opponent's follow-up here is. I'm not worried about too much because of the grind to dust, but you have to be careful. Okay, we drew the other 6-drop in the deck, so I think we're fine. Could cycle something right away. I don't see a need to do that, though. I'm just going to be patient. My card quality is better than my opponent's card quality. They didn't play anything last turn. I just don't even know what's going on. Soul Stinger's solid. Note that if I exile Soul Stinger... Oh, he didn't even put the counters on it. Okay. Okay. Bone Slasher's a card. Certainly a card. We're going to play it here. Just get some more power on board. Let our opponent attack us if they want. It might be greedy to just try and hold on to all these cards, but once we draw our 6th land, we're going to go bash, right? Any merit to attack in here? No. If Grind could put counters on multiple things, then we would consider it. I think my whole game plan here is resolved around just not trading with this rat. I kind of want them to attack with something so I can block with Fester and Mummy now and put a counter on Ruin Rat. Okay, it's respectable. Foil Lethal Sting. Note we also have 2 start to finishes still in our deck. Alright, attack me with something so I can block with Fester and Mummy. Nothing, come on. What are you waiting for? We'll play it. We're certainly gonna play it. I'm wondering why my opponent's not attacking. They're afraid I'm gonna... I guess that's actually a bad attack for them. I can just block with 2 things, and then I could even block with, like, Fester and Mummy and Maraud and Bone Slasher and kill it. But it's gonna trade for one of my guys. But I'm fine. I'm at a healthy life total. I'm fine building up a board until I hit this. If I keep drawing creatures, I'll just keep deploying creatures. Waiting for Asher Bonnie. Come on, Asher Bonnie. I probably misplayed a lot in the early steps of this game. It should have been, maybe I was being greedy to try and keep dust around. I should have just gotten rid of their guys. But you see the problem here is if I used Grind to Dust and then I used Final Reward on that Scrounger, I'd be in a situation where I just get brick walled by these two creatures, although I have, my flyer to get in there at some point. Not sure what my opponent's doing right now. They're thinking very heavily about my Oketra's Avenger. I also really wish I had a cartouche. Even if it was the white cartouche, I'd play it because it's so good with Trial of Ambition. And the white cartouche isn't absolutely terrible on its own. It would have been good in the early game. It's a good way to get past Death Touch creatures. It gives the enchanted creature first strike. We're going to go and pause until my opponent comes back. Alright, Spies, they let Oketra's Avenger resolve with their black and white mana. Still no great attacks here. Just bide in time. I have no idea what my opponent could have in hand either. Probably Sandblasts. Looks like possible Torment of Venom here. That's okay, I'll just lose 3. Yeah. That is fine by me. Do I lose 3 life? I could sacrifice Fester and Mummy and get rid of Ruin Rat now. Seems like an okay play. And then they exile something from my graveyard. They get some attacks in. I'll do that. I don't think Fester and Mummy is doing too much here. Although it is a good blocker for my opponent. Against my opponent. Yes, I would love to do that. They're getting rid of Festering Mummy. Oh, Desert. That makes sense. In case I have something that cares about deserts in my graveyard, but I already have one on the battlefield, so there's not too much to worry about there. Wasteland Scorpion, just another dirtly blocker. More guys. Anointer Priest. Don't care too much about that one. Do you attack now? You should get to the point where you start attacking, I think. At least with Soul Stinger. I'm just not blocking at all of these attack. And if I don't draw a land, I might be at the point where, well, we drew a land. All right, so we're going to grind to dust the 2 big guys and then take it from there. Which really makes me wish I'd put a -1 counter on something else, but oh well. Yeah, grind these 2. Dust those 2. Just showcasing how powerful grind to dust is. Just 6 mana, exile 2 target creatures. It's pretty absurd. Now I get a attack with Oketra's Avenger. I could attack with everything. I don't care if Wasteland Scorpion blocks. In fact, it's going to trade off for something anyway. I might as well get it done and over with. Otherwise, I'm holding back 4 damage. And probably block. I'd be surprised if they don't block with a Wasteland Scorpion. They don't. Okay. They just take 5. Sunscourge Champion's a good card. But I don't think it's going to do too much overall here. Because I'm going to play Stir the Sands next turn. I have a bunch of 5/5s, bunch of 2/2s. One's got another play here. Oh, another Lethal Sting. It's solid. Yep. Know how good Sunscourge Champion is. So my opponent definitely had better removal than I gave him credit for. I have 1 card left in hand. Maybe I just play the Angel here. It blocks everything my opponent plays. I could also play Oketra's Avenger and Cycle Stir the Sands as like a combat trick. In fact, that would be better to do next turn, but I don't know. Again, Wasteland Scorpion's just going to brick wall these creatures for all eternity, so there's no point not getting in there. My opponent can bring back a 4/4 Sunscourge Champion, which is a real threat, so I think I am going to play Angel here. I don't really want my opponent eternalizing that. Did I click Stir the Sands? I must click Stir the Sands. Yeah. Oh, I don't have double white. Well, that makes my job easy then. We will cast this. Alright, these are 5/5s. I like attacking with both of them. My opponent has to discard a card to bring back Sun Scourge Champion, but that's okay. I do need to get some damage in. Opponent trades here. Maybe blocks here? If they don't block, that's great. Or if they don't block with Sun Scourge Champion. Okay, that seems strange to me. What you got? I don't think I'm missing any eternalized creatures from my opponent. Yeah, they got nothing relevant in the graveyard. Never to return. Seems fine. They can make a 2/2 zombie as well, gain a life. Okay, not what we wanted to see at all there. Swamp is our worst draw. We're going to draw a lane. We want it to be a white source. Maybe we just cycle this angel. But if we cycle into a white source, that would be very unfortunate. Let's give it one more turn, see what we draw. Kind of, I would say we're at parity with our opponent. They do have return in their graveyard, but it's not anything fantastic. They do get another 2/2 on board. They go up to 16 life. Solitary Camel is fine. Don't currently have a... Oh, they do have a desert in their graveyard. Alright, another Mummy Paramount. So I think we're going to cycle this angel, which seems silly, right? But we need to draw action and get ahead of our opponent. Of course. You get a free attack with Catcher's Avenger. And then know how good like Unraveling Mummy would be on this board. Just turning all of our guys into lifelink and death touch creatures. We're ahead in the race. Our opponent has a lifelinker though. Godpharaoh's Faithful I'm not worried about at all, even though it does block a Catcher's Avenger. Do you attack with your lifelinker? You do. We'll happily attempt to trade off a zombie token for that. Doesn't seem profitable for my opponent. Ooh, Crested Sunmare. Okay, now I'm just going to lose the game. Now my opponent's deck makes sense. Yeah, now I've effectively just lost the game. And this card's absurd. Yeah, my opponent plays that. I could just concede here. Yeah. All right, let's go to game 3. All right, my opponent's deck makes more sense now. Maybe I should have been a little more aggressive. Do I have anything that cares about... Oh, Gideon's Defeat seems a lot better now. And in exchange for that... Yeah, see, even if we had drawn removal, we're so far behind there. What about... Maybe the Raw piece comes out. I'm fine losing the Raw Beast. Alright, we shall try that again. We're better on the play than we are on the draw. I think we misplayed pretty heavily in the early games. We just gave our opponent infinite time to draw things, but I mean, maybe we should have cycled Stir the Sands too, or not cycled the Angel. Note there that not cycling the Angel wouldn't have really mattered. If we played the Angel, we're still just going to lose to that horse. It's a very strong card if you get the horse out of it. I would like to play first. This is okay. It's not great. Might cycle this Angel here, but if we draw excess lands, we won't do that. Opponent went down to 6. Opponent went down to 5. Alright. So things in my opponent's deck are starting to make sense, even though I still don't understand... what's it called? I don't understand the Sun-Scorched Desert. Maybe that was an accident. Huh. Yep. Alright, you got your early blocker. That's a good draw. It's a very good draw. Gives us an out to pretty much anything we can need an out to. If my opponent doesn't play anything, we probably just Trial of Ambition here. They do play a creature. That's fine. Painted Bluff also seems unnecessary in his deck. It doesn't gain him life. It doesn't... maybe he's splashing for something I didn't notice, but... I like the idea of keeping that desert in my hand. Let's go ahead and play... I'm going to hold up start to finish. I don't really want to waste Trial of Ambition on this 0-4. It's not going to do much in the long game. Like, it's brick walling me here, but I get to attack through it for the most part. Are you cycling? Why would you cycle that? Maybe he just doesn't have lands. I guess he did mulligan down to 5, right? Mm-hmm. It's a thing you can do. Now, if he doesn't play a creature here, that would be great for us. Looks like maybe the Ruin Rat. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead and cast Start. Let my opponent take their turn. Active Heroism doesn't do very much. Let's start with, looks like, probably going to keep this desert in hand. I'm going to go and cast Trial, see what my opponent wants to get rid of. I guess I can't cycle the desert this turn. We'll decide next turn whether or not we need to draw. Oh, I should have definitely played desert there. That was wrong. Now my opponent can trade here, doesn't have to discard. Oh well. And they get the exile finish. I'm just so bad at Magic together. That was all poor play right there. All poor play. I could have gotten extra value off my camel. I lost my finish in my graveyard. It's just very poor playing. So let's start by cycling this. Okay, Mummy Paramount's not terrible. I'm going to go and attack for 2 here. Play Paramount, pass turn. So lands are fine for us because we can play this 4-4. My opponent has nothing, did not draw a 5th land, so they do have their Sunmare. Oh, that's a great draw. It doesn't make up for my sloppy playing, but it is a good out in case my opponent does draw something to get out of this situation. And the situation being that they just straight up don't have mana for stuff. I would love to see them actually tap out for their thing. No, we'll get rid of that. Okay, another start to finish. So definitely the deck is awarding us for playing very poorly. So I expect my opponent to tap out for like another 5-drop here. We play finish. Then we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage on board. That I don't care about at all. Compulsory rest on Mummy Paramount. Okay, I mean, that gives us a easy thing to sack to finish if we need to, but still get in for 4 here. Accursed Horde is a good follow-up. Opponent down to 6 with a removal spell that my opponent sees in the graveyard. Accursed Horde to follow up. This guy can give an attacking zombie indestructible for 1 and a black. Pretty decent card. Yeah, I can't believe I misplayed that badly. I didn't think I was super far ahead of my opponent and got a little cocky with my plays there. Not cocky, just not thinking about it. 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so active heroism means that I have my opponent dead. Binding Mummy. That's only when another zombie enters the battlefield. So I think I just actually want to cast Finish here. Finish, Binding Mummy, boom. And then my opponent's just not going to have a lot of answers. They didn't have any answer to anything prior to this, so I don't think they have an answer now. I have lethal on board. They need a removal spell right now. And there you go. Through some very sloppy playing in the second and third game, I think I kind of grind to dust and not thinking things through very much. That Death Touch Rat really threw me off. But there you go. We ended up snagging the third game against an opponent who's playing just a bunch of really weird cards. Like, I get that this is in the deck for the Crested Sunmare, but why is Painted Bluffs in the deck and why Sunscorched Desert? I don't know. But I'll see you guys in round two.